September 15th, Nike created a revolutionary new basketball shoe. On October 18th, the NBA threw them out of the game. Fortunately, the NBA can't stop you from wearing them. Air Jordans from Nike.
Air Jordan 1 Bred, the most iconic colorway to many sneakerheads around the world. Nike came out with a huge marketing campaign telling consumers that the Air Jordan 1 was banned from the NBA. In reality, it was the Air Jordan 1 ship. But although many knew this from the beginning, it did not stop the shoe from becoming what it is today. In this two-part series, we will be sitting down with one of the owners of Vice, Iowa City, Tony, as he tells us a crazy story on how he stumbled upon a pair of Air Jordan 1 Bred samples made for the GOAT himself, Michael Jordan. Crazy to hear the story, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. Stay tuned. What's up, guys? We're here with the guys from Vice. You want to introduce yourself?
I mean, I guess you guys probably already know from the first couple videos we've done, but my name's Tony from Vice, Iowa City, at Tony Vice IC, and the boys are back in town for a little special video.
For sure. I'm super excited about this video. I couldn't wait. I was like, I've been biting my tongue, like, because people ask me, like, what are you going to be filming over there? I couldn't tell people I didn't want to ruin it. But just a quick shout out to you guys for even allowing us to film the pair. I know it's probably like, it's like you keep in a secret box and you don't want it to be moving so much, but just thank you guys for truly like allowing us not only to film this video, but truly treating us like family whenever we come over here.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
Yeah. And a quick note, we were just looking at our other videos that we have. If you haven't already checked out his collection, it's doing super, super well on our YouTube channel. And yeah, go ahead if you haven't already checked that out.
Yeah, man.
And I really wanted to go over, because I know you did a video about, not about the shoe, but like kind of getting into like the shoe. Do you want to explain that?
The George Keel video?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we found, the shoe that we're going to be talking about, we were hitting up everybody. Joe LaPuma, we talked to Matt Halfhill from Nice Kicks, and then George Keel, who used to be with Nice Kicks, and he would do the sneak peeks in like DJ Khaled's house, like every like entertainer, athlete, and he reached out and he's like, yeah, man, like the story is just so good. It's like I've never done anything in Iowa.
Yeah.
This is such a crazy piece of history. So he flew out, we did the video. It's got like close to 100,000 views, so people still come into the store like, oh, we heard about you on YouTube, not even off Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was a huge part of us kind of, getting some good followers and traction. So it's been big.
Dope. I want to actually get in, because I saw that video and I thought it was super dope, but I really wanted to get into the story behind the shoes. How did you guys acquire the sneakers?
Yeah, so we talked about it, but it wasn't as, in-depth as we would have liked. But basically the short, in-depth version is we were reached out to by a former employee who worked at Nike back in the 70s. So when he applied, it was Blue Ribbon Sports. It wasn't even Nike yet. And he kind of worked his way up, got to a pretty, high up position. And I think his wife was telling him to clear some stuff out. And he had a whole basement full of Nike stuff. And we were lucky enough to be the ones to kind of come in. And the shoe wasn't even part of the package. It was more other pieces that we saw that got us over there. And then the shoe was just kind of like a hidden gem, sitting in the corner. So came up on it that way.
Well, I want you to explain, like, what did you first think when you saw the shoe, or how was that when you first saw the shoe?
Well, it was funny because he takes us in his office to show us, like, he had autographed posters with Jordan, pictures of him with Jordan, with, like, Bojo. Like, it was the craziest, like, he had all this cool stuff. And me and Peter, I know for sure, we kind of, like, locked eyes because we saw this Bred 1 sitting on a bookshelf in the bottom corner, just, like, kind of dusty and, like, out of the way.
Yeah.
So he was telling some other stories and stuff, and we're both just kind of looking at it. And we finally had the chance. We asked him, like, hey, what's the story on that? He's like, oh, it's this old Jordan 1 that I had from back in the day. And we're like, is that for sale? And initially he said no, he was going to keep it. So, I mean, like, seeing it, we had no idea what it was. We just knew it was an old Bred 1. We didn't know the exact details on it. So it was kind of like shock at first, but not really fully comprehending what we were looking at.
What was that?
So.
When he said yes and you guys bought the shoe, what did you guys think to do with it at that point?
I mean, well, it was funny because we were torn. I know me and Peter were like on board to sell it pretty quick because we didn't know what it was. And D was kind of like the fatherly figure, like, maybe we should, slow down and think about it, and like this would be cool to have for the store, and like eventually we decided like, yeah, let's kind of take a step back and see what we got here, and then that's when it worked out well, because if we would have sold it right away, we would have been pretty upset with ourselves.
Yeah. What is the shoe exactly? Can you explain to our viewers?
So it is a 1984 player exclusive Bred 1.
Who was the shoe made for?
Essentially, it would have been made for Jordan because it's a size 13. You know, samples are made in size 9, so it's not a production sample. It is the shoe that they would have made, you know, in a batch to show Jordan for marketing, to be like, do you like this cut? Do you like this color? It would have been essentially the prototype to be like, this is your first shoe. Like, what do you want us to change?
So basically like the sample of the actual shoe.
Yeah, like I mean, it's just something that they would have made to be, you know, here's your first shoe. Like, do you want us to change the cut on the ankle collar? Do you want us to change this color here? Like, it's kind of like, here it is, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a crazy, like, I'm not saying he ever wore it. We can't verify that, but the shoe is bar laced, like, straight from Nike. It's, like, essentially dead stock. It's crazy condition, but it's something that he would have probably seen at some point because there's very few of them.
Yeah.
So.
What have you guys been offered for it so far?
So we threw it up on eBay asking $30,000 our best offer, which sounds crazy, but the highest offer we've gotten so far is $15,000 from an international buyer who would, you know, fly to the States, and we would go meet him and kind of hand it off. So we're kind of hanging on. It's not a bad thing to have. I mean, obviously we do videos. Like, it's a cool piece of history for us to own and keep in Iowa until, you know, the time is right. So
yeah, I think it's so crazy that even the shoe was here in the first place, but that it's here at a local shop.
Well, like what I always say is you know, going to the guy's house, I had driven down that street a million times on the way to my grandpa's. So, like, to think that, like, one right turn and, like, in a dude's basement is, like, this crazy piece of history, like, just sitting in Iowa City, and the fact that they reached out to us, I don't know, it's like you can't even make it up, you know, it's kind of just a crazy thing that happened.
I definitely think it's super crazy, and when I first heard stories of it, and then we actually sat down on the podcast, and even before that you guys kind of told us what happened, I really wanted to get this on film. You never know where things might go from years from now, and I really just wanted to show people that even just recently we found out when someone commented from Australia, and like show them that there really is pieces of history here in Iowa, not just Des Moines but also Iowa City where you guys are located at.
Yeah, we gotta put Iowa on the map somehow. You know, people, you know, fly over us all the time, but like this is the type of thing that, like, you know, we got some cool stuff, so we want to show it off.
For sure. I think it's time now. I really want to see the sneakers. I can't wait. I'm super excited. I've been trying to bite my tongue, like I said, not tell people, not give them, you know, any details. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll go grab it.
All right. So here we have them, the Air Jordan 1 Bred. Oh, man, just looking at the shoe already, it's crazy. It's unbelievable. Do you want to like go over the shoe and see what's different maybe?
Yeah, I can run you guys through it because there's definitely, from what came out in '85, there's definitely a lot of differences. So the main thing that people notice, especially collectors that hit us up, is the shoe liner, the ankle collar in here is red. So any pair, of course, that's ever been retro that came out is black.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the first thing that when we posted it, people were like, kind of pointed that out to us, and we're like, oh snap, like what is this? Like why is that red? You know, that type of thing. Another real noticeable one is the swoosh is huge. I don't know if you can tell from right here, but it's like, it's giant.
Really big.
So they started out with just a lot bigger swoosh, and then they cut it down apparently. And another thing is it's more of a mid cut.
Yeah.
So it's not the OG one high that we know. It's definitely more of a mid cut. And then also the toe box is a little bit like sleeker. So I don't know if you know, like on pairs. Like the leather goes up a little bit higher. It's a little bit more bulkier in toes. It's kind of like a really like sleek version. So not sure why they changed all those things. I don't know if that was Jordan saw this and was like, you know, I want a little higher cut, whatever. And so I was talking about the OG bar lacing. Whenever we've posted it and talked about it, everyone's like, man, why would they lace them like that? I'm like, all I can say is Nike did that.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know why. Like I don't know if it's for marketing, like to appeal to kids to try and sell them or something. But like that's something they chose to do. So those are like some of the key differences that people definitely would notice from this kind of player exclusive '84 pair to whatever came out.
And I think it's crazy that like how the sole is that yellow, but like now even with the Nigels that you guys have here in store, like they're trying to like mimic that worn, you know, like that.
They don't really do white outsoles anymore.
Yeah.
It's always that sail cream off-white. And what's funny about that is, because we've had this shoe get reposted on Instagram a lot from like big sneaker accounts, and a lot of people are like, oh, I hate that yellow outsole. I hate that. I'm like, the shoe's like, what, damn near 30, 40 years old?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think is going to happen? It's just like, it's like patina, you know, it's like an antique. Like, it's just like, you can't pay for that. It's just something that happens over time, natural, beautiful, so.
There are those sneakerheads who love and also hate that, of course. And like I said, some sneakerheads do like it and some don't. That's the same thing with, like, well, yeah, even the yellowing and even the laces. Like, some people hate when, you know, people switch up the laces or how the way they lace them if they do both colors. What do you think on that?
I mean, I'm not mad at it because that's just like a part of the history of it. Is that's what Nike chose to do. I don't know if it was, like I said, for the marketing to appeal to kids more or what. But as far as the outsoles, like maybe the new sail bottoms on everything is kind of played out, but like something that this has happened to naturally. Like I'm not mad at it at all. Like
I love it, to be honest. I used to hate it. I used to, like, you know, even back then I used to hate. I'm like, oh man, they're all yellow. They kind of looks trash. But actually, now growing up and actually looking back at how the shoes were, and even like I said with these, how they are right now, I truly love it and I respect it more.
Yeah, it's more just an appreciation for the piece than like, oh, I hate how that looks. It's like, no, this is what happens, and it's 30, 40 years old.
Yeah,
that's just what it is. So.
What I wanted to go more into depth too about, like, what were you guys thinking about when you guys found out like how special this shoe is?
I mean, it was a weird time because we went from thinking this is like a, you know, because it's just one shoe, it's the left foot. We're like, oh, this is maybe $600 to $800 sneaker, to find out that it could potentially be worth, you know, thousands. It was kind of a crazy thing, and it's a toss up on what's the right move to make. But like we said, we're happy with having it and keeping it in the store for now, and keeping it in Iowa. So
yeah. I want to thank you guys again for even allowing us to film it.
Yeah, not too many people have seen it in person this up close, so it's cool to kind of show it off.
I definitely want to get some B-roll of it and show like our viewers like more details of it, and of course you can take care of that with, you know, I don't want to mess it up, but thank you guys again for letting us even be here filming. Always like treating us, like I said, like family. And where can people find you guys at? So,
of course, the store is at Vice Iowa City. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and we're at 114 East Prentice Street here in Iowa City. So, you know, come find us. We're open every day except for Monday.
All right. Thank you again, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you.
We'll switch to some B-roll and see you guys. Enjoy.